Oops, where's my deployment mode? There. Ansbach, just north of them. So if Ravensburg and Ansbach's forces manage to unite, then Ravensburg could be in a bit of a problem. And also if Austria decides, no, squish, then Austria could certainly do that. This could also leave Ulm open to attack after this, because if Ulm takes another province, they are no longer a free city. And Austria is not piecing them out, even though Austria could separate piece them. They aren't doing it. So Emperor Fewer might be just going, you shall obey. Ulm, you don't get it. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked up in here with me. Austria's dead already. Oh man, all of the Ulm memes begin. And now Ming just erupting in separatism. Mao separatists, Yi separatists, Yu separatists, Jin separatists. And I'm impressed by Manchu. I want to see what Manchu's ideas are like. Land maintenance -5, land leader shock +1, and it caps off with a morale +15. That's pretty cool. National manpower modifier +15, core creation -15, possible Manchu banners +25%. Of course, Manchu can get their banner units. Stability cost -10, institution +5, although banners aren't as good as they used to be. Horde unity +1. They are still a steppe horde, although apparently a pretty united one. Cavalry combat +15, military tech -10, aggressive expansion -10. So Manchu do have some pretty powerful ideas. Manchu now going after Korea. A fairly easy one. And then Hosokawa down to just 2 wars. I'm astonished that he's pulling this off. This is quite incredible by Hosokawa here. Guessing that he's tapped for manpower pretty much. I wonder how many of his armies are mercenary. None? Really? Wow. And how many loans? 2. Well, I guess as he's piecing everyone out, he's just taking money from them, which is then paying off the loans that he has. And he's currently working on growing those territories. It's not an easy way to play, but if you can pull off rotating truces to prevent a coalition, then you can expand spectacularly fast. Kaiser Johann did a brilliant example of that as Prussia in the Happy Three Friends Death Clash conquered all of Western Europe before a coalition could form. Impressive. Meanwhile, Castile owning most of Wales, England getting notably smaller and smaller. I wonder if they're planning to move to Wales or if they're planning to become Irish. Are we going to have an Irish England here? Are we going to see a return of the Pale Pirates under a proper pirate republic? Wow, that's a tongue twister. Pale Pirates, proper pirate republic. Say that quickly, I dare ya. 8 provinces, 2 more to lose. They're getting there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. France and Castile just growing stronger and stronger. Is this changing the balance of power at all? France still very much in first place, then the Mamluks. Ottomans are no longer a player, so Castile coming in with the 3rd place points. Bahmanis now being on the Great Powers list. Vichy dealing with rebels of their own. The Ulm-Austria war continues. Ulm seeing off Ravensburg once again, trying to take out Ansbach before they can build more troops. Ulm having a couple of financial constraints, although they do seem to be making enough money. Still got some manpower. Did they just piece Ansbach out? No, they didn't. What are they going to do about Austria? Oh dear. Meanwhile, France has finally gone to war with Burgundy. They did leave this war really quite late, but this is France, Castile and Portugal. Oh dear. Against Burgundy, Brabant, Flanders, Holland and Nevers. So we might well see an independent Holland emerging from this. Helsin, meanwhile, as Muscovy, now going after the Livonian, Scotland, the Isles, and Riga. Oh, of course, the Isles. I keep forgetting that the Isles are actually an independent nation. And their ideas are actually really good. That's Muscovy. Chance of new air +50, garrison size +25%. That's a bit eh. Morale of armies +15. Right there. Attrition from enemies +1, siege ability +10, stability cost -10, religious unity +10, shock damage +15, combined with your siege ability and your morale. National manpower +10, and then +1 yearly prestige with the capstone of 10% more manpower recovery. So it takes you 9 years to recover full manpower instead of 10. It's quite good. Meanwhile, the Isles army just got squished by the Muscovites. Finland being released by Muscovy, or Helson rather, really liking Vassal Swarm gameplay. That is his usual strategy, and he does have Finland, Zhukov, Yaroslavl, Perm, Belozero, and Rostov as vassals right now. So if we go to the diplomatic map mode, we can see that even though Muscovy itself is fairly small, everything dark green is also a vassal of theirs. So definitely quite potent. Currently going against the Livonians, nobody really stepping up to defend them. The Ottomans are at war with Venice, while Venice is at war with Austria. I kind of feel sorry for Venice in that situation. Portugal's at war. Portugal's joined in the war against Burgundy. Hosokawa we already know. Poland is in a war against the Teutons, denying Brandenburg the potential of becoming Prussia. If they hold on to Danzig and Königsberg, then Prussia cannot form. We do have a Brandenburg player, don't we? We were supposed to. Yes, we do. Slurfen. Slurfen just currently sitting back, quite contentedly just training troops, making them even stronger and better. Although early game Brandenburg is usually in a bit of a fickle situation. I'm a little bit surprised that they've not tried to expand beyond, like, Neumark. Although I guess they did... no, they start with Altmark. They have taken Uckermark. Neumark they've bought. Sternberg they start with. I think they start with Altmark. In fact, I don't think Brandenburg's expanded at all. Empty Road, Mamelukes currently fighting against Mercuria and Alodia. Just taking a little bit more territory down here in the south, going towards Ethiopia. So we don't have an Ethiopia player, otherwise they'd be getting very nervous right now. Meanwhile, the Martian and Manchu still fighting. They are going after Korea. Korea actually putting up a bit of a fight, moving lots and lots of tiny little stacks to try and reconquer territories, while the main Manchu armies are left going for the fort, which really controls access into the north, well, into the rest of Korea, though you can just sneak through via Gangju Nuang. I ended up putting a fort in Wongjу because that really does just block access into Korea during my Japan game. And then we have the Manchu armies marching in to lift the siege of Jilin. Manchu having 3.7 morale versus the 3.3, both of them having 0.7 tactics. This looks like it's going to be a pretty easy victory for Manchu, especially as Korea did not have a general there. The only place where Korea is really reigning supreme is at sea, which is not really a surprise. They are quite a powerful naval nation. Meanwhile, over in Milan, Milan is at war with Venice, hoping to carve a little bit of the pie for themselves, of course being in the alliance with the Papal States and Austria. And then Austria also being in that war, Castile being at war with Burgundy. And at the moment, it doesn't look like Burgundy is under threat. There is a French army trying to occupy stuff, but right now the only occupations are French. I'm seeing some privateers. Could those possibly be English? They are. English privateers have done their thing. Has he raised the black flag? Nope, he's still a kingdom. Under the English monarchy. 1, 2, because he's bought back Chester and Lancashire. Oh no, Chester he always kept. Lancashire he's bought back since. Or it's been flipped by separatists. That's also possible. Because it looks like France and Castile are having to invest quite a few troops to keeping the rebels at bay. Can't raise the black flag while Calais is English. That is true, he can't. Hope Castile sells Calais to Castile just to screw with France. That would be pretty hilarious. I'm guessing the Burgundian inheritance is not going to be a thing. Let's see who the current ruler is. No, it's still Charles the Bold, but he does have an heir. Louis de Bourgogne. So the Burgundian inheritance does not look like it's going to be a thing. Which is good, because that's probably one of my least favourite events in the game. That and the Iberian wedding. Both of them should have a higher chance of not happening. Meanwhile, Oirat now being fairly quiet, except for just hunting down rebels. I mean, they did just take down Ming, so we'll give them a little bit of time. Maybe another 5 minutes or so, and then we'll expect some more action. Meanwhile, Bahmanis still licking their wounds from the war against Vijayanagar. They are gaining some manpower back again now, and I'm guessing that they've repaid the majority of their loans. They still have one outstanding, but Bahmanis really looking pretty secure. Meanwhile, Malacca did finish their own war, still with a good amount of manpower. 4 loans to pay off, but Malacca's in a very wealthy area, so I'm not too concerned about their financial situation. I do wonder if anyone's getting any ideas yet. Most likely would be someone in Europe. Well, actually, easy way to check would be to go to here, and then technologies. No, nobody is Tech 5 yet. Okay. And actually, this would be an excellent opportunity to start looking at the scores. So right now, in terms of income, first place are the Mamelukes, France are in second place, and then Castile are currently in third place. Then in terms of military, in first place we have Poland, second place we have Muscovy, and then third place we have the Mamelukes. I chose the military ratings here because they take like an average of military technology, morale, general quality, discipline, rather than just being the size or the quality of the army itself, which is a little bit more difficult to ascribe a score to. Because I don't want to force people to, for example, take quantity ideas, which they would have to if it was done on numbers. Then, in terms of other scores, we have naval size. At the moment, the largest navy belongs to Venice with 38 vessels. Then Portugal with 24, so Venice having a clear advantage there. Then the Mamelukes coming in third place with 20. Mamelukes actually entering the scores in quite a few different locations, including being second place in terms of great powers. So Mamelukes are really going to be securing themselves quite a few positions. What other goals were there? Need to check my own list again. Highest development province. There we go. Who's been deving up the most? We can find that in the province development and then sort by this. So the Papal States controlling Rome are in first place. Then Milan is in second. And Venice... No, Venice is not a player. Mamelukes. Cairo is third. It's the Mamelukes again. And then Cusco coming in as the 4th biggest developed player province, which is actually quite impressive. So Cusco may well be trying to pick up a couple of points there just through sheer development. In fact, Cusco is going to be the one place that does struggle to develop up, because you cannot adopt Renaissance until you've adopted feudalism. And in fact, they can't adopt it full stop because they need to reform because they're a native. Not actually sure how natives work in terms of technologies and stuff. I just didn't touch them at all. So, pretty sure they do need to reform. How do they do that? Is it a decision? I know there's a way of doing it, but I've never actually played as a native, so I don't know. Upper right corner. Upper right corner of what? Oh, down here. Haha! So they need to get all 5 of these, and then they can reform the religion, which will allow them to start getting some institutions. And they need to have more authority to get the reforms. And that one in particular is really nice, because it lets you start getting colonists, which allow you to start expanding your provinces. Which is pretty cool. But yeah, Cusco is going to be the one nation that's going to struggle for technology. At least initially. Once they reform, they actually automatically get the technology of their neighbor, or like at a slight penalty, something like that, because they require a European or colonial nation neighbor. What's the deal with Georgia? Occupied by the Livonian Order. That's an interesting one. Oh, because they're allied to Muscovy, I assume? I don't think they're a vassal. They are a personal union. So Muscovy has a personal union with Georgia. That's what's up with Georgia. Newbie question, does combat with count for navy as well? Yes. So with the navies, you have... where is it? I'm not even sure it shows on this screen. But in the battles you have engagement with, which is related to your naval technology and also your admiral skill and also some other modifiers. So some countries do get a naval engagement with, but I'm not sure who. I think Pirate Republics might. Palembang still exists, we'll check them out. It'll be part of their government. Force limits, Republican tradition, raid coast, chance to capture ships, absolutism. It's not. But there is a naval engagement with, yes. Player war. Another player war. Brandenburg versus Poland. No! Poland, Brandenburg are allied with Danzig, Lithuania, Mazovia, Pomerania versus Muscovy. So it looks like the Poles and Muscovy are at war. Muscovy right now is under siege. And they're saying, check out the diplomat mode. I suspect that's just because of Poland and Lithuania. So it's this versus this, minus Novgorod. Which Muscovy still hasn't gobbled up, because they were so greedy and went after Finland. They've not really got the more developed territories around Tver and in the middle. Which could actually be a bit of a negative for Muscovy. But this is very much putting an early competition between Poland, Lithuania and Muscovy, which I'm very happy to see, because I was hoping for a little bit more conflict between Sweden and Muscovy, but that hasn't emerged yet. Is Sweden still actually playing, or did he actually quit? No, he is still playing. Making a bit of money. He's out of loans. He's fine. And he's got rid of all of his rebels. That's no problem. Sweden's fine. Meanwhile, Poland, Lithuania's troops are marching in. Muscovy is here. They've ended their previous war against the Livonians, having just taken 2 provinces. Probably wishing that they could take more, but they didn't. They have been pieced out. So it's just Poland, Brandenburg, Danzig, Lithuania, Mazovia, Pomerania versus Muscovy and all of its vassals. Like, these are all vassals or personal unions. Muscovy's army sitting here. We do see the Polish army marching in there. Lithuania being told to hold back. I wonder if they're actually using AI orders to tell Lithuania to be a little bit more defensive, or maybe they're telling them to be support. Let's go and take a look. I'm curious about this. Subjects. They are supportive. And Muscovy subjects are also supportive. So we should be seeing a bunch of vassal armies just like gathering in this area. Sweden might be bankrupt. I mean, it's a way of fixing the problems. He just needs to survive for 10 years. Like, bankruptcy can be a really useful tool. You get 80% of the tech level of the nation you reform from as a native. Also, the government forms you reform from a colony, you become a republic. Gotcha. And here we go. Battle is joined. We've got 32,000 Muscovites coming in against 28,000 Poles. The Poles having a -1 because of Moscow's forested terrain. We've got 40,000 Poles and Lithuanians coming in. I wonder if Brandenburg's here. Brandenburg is here, but Brandenburg doesn't have their advantages yet. 3.3 morale versus 3.3. Muscovy does have a shock 4 general against Poland's shock 1. Morale now 3.5. I think this is actually an average rather than a total, unless they just got an advisor. Another 1,000 troops coming in. It looks like Muscovy's troops are starting to lose just because of the sheer weight of numbers that they're up against. And there we go. Muscovy has lost the first battle. Muscovy very quickly starting to recruit more troops. Muscovy is tapped for manpower, whereas Lithuania has 22,000, Poland has 7, and Brandenburg has 13. This is a bad situation for Muscovy. Helsin may have been a little bit too aggressive early on, and clearly Poland, Lithuania and Brandenburg, having decided early on that Muscovy is a problem they need to deal with, and just waiting for Helsin to overextend. Meanwhile, the war between Ulm and Austria has ended. It doesn't look like Ulm has expanded. In fact, Ulm is still a free city. So I think Austria just turned around to him and just went, no, get back in your place. Good grief, that's a lot of rebels.